I think it's safe to say that music is very influential. What? It's just an assumption. But more often than not, when it comes to songs with actual vocals, it's the singer, his or herself, that everyone pays attention to. And while we would spend our time looking at vocal tracks, I think it's time to give the vocalists credit where credit is due. We're going to rank these guys on not just how they sing, but how their singing affects the purpose in their games, and we gotta like these characters, of course. As for the characters that qualify, we aren't looking at actual real-life vocalists that sing their songs, we're looking at actual in-game characters. Also, these characters have to originate from video games, so keep squeezing your Michael Jacksons and your Beatles because, well, they aren't relevant here. No one I know really likes the Black Eyed Peas anyway. Now before we start, anecdote time! We intended to keep this list as a secret until it was released, and for the most part, we did just that. But this was in production since freaking October, and secret lists mean that no one in the family knows. And when no one knows, they start complaining about how they aren't doing anything, even though they end up not contributing in the end anyways because, oh, their segment sucks, or, oh, they can't justify why their segment's any higher, oh, they don't have enough time, even though they have a month at least to do their segments that, you know, they signed up in the first place. Can we start this before I get an aneurysm?
Medusa from Castle Crashers is on this list. Confused? Natural response. But, surprisingly, her singing abilities are quite interesting and admittedly quite cool. Firstly, before her fight starts, she sings a small segment of the overworld theme before noticing the knights. Second, her attacks that turn you into stone are carried out via singing. And lastly... hey, look at that boot! So yeah, well, Medusa isn't much of a singer, she's good enough to get on this list.
Because she's feisty! Now come on, see my segment, come on. Number 9. The Mad Doctor from Epic Mickey's goal is to always try and kill Mickey with his mechanical tools, but he always ends up losing to Mickey, like in the original Epic Mickey. However, in the underrated sequel Epic Mickey 2 The Power of Two, the Mad Doctor wants to convince the hero Oswald that he's a changed man and wants to help save the disaster-struck wasteland and, well, be a hero for once. But how is he going to do this? Well, look at the title.
Friends, I stand before you a changed man. I've seen the error of my ways, and now I've got a plan. I'm not here to conquer wasteland. I've tried all that before.
I'm here to repair the magic land I truly do adore. Let's go. The Mad Doctor's lyrics are not about honeys or getting high. They convey his simple hopes for respect and forgiveness from the people of the recently disaster-struck wasteland, whether it's with his catchy tunes or his adorable accent. And when judging his abilities during his 7 songs throughout the game, they are of ranging paces, but they are cleverly used to make you feel different emotions for the Doc, whether it's pure sympathy or pure hatred during the twist that the game lays out. I won't spoil. But despite wanting to heroically rebuild Wasteland rather than conquering, he secretly has dreams to leave Wasteland and be a popular toon again and share some of Mickey's limelight with him. What a jerk! His singing made him seem innocent and sincere, but he's actually just going to ditch you again, and you have to hate him for that. But he's got an amazing voice, and amazing facial hair!
But even I couldn't know.
Oh, and he turns himself into an animatronic for some reason, but he still has that awesome facial hair! And voice, of course. Wait, so the Mad Doctor is a robot singer? Mother of crabs. And I find his hobby's dedication even more hilarious when over the radio he'll even sing to you. It's the simplest task. Now that is dedication. Although he loves to leap onto his victims as his funky dance moves, he lacks different pitches to prevent him from being any higher as a great singer. Wasteland is in danger, I would say. And his 7 songs with a few shorter numbers don't really affect his gameplay, aside from a brief side-scrolling level through his lab. He's crying, and I like it. I'm weird. I just like bald people singing. Hallelujah! Character-wise, one might love to hate him because of his betrayal yet dulcet singing, and he might look like the glassless version of my dad. But he has that facial hair, which is a secret reason why only one person in the game only voted for the battle as the ninth best singer in gaming. That freaking facial hair.
Till then, good luck, my friends.
I still don't trust him.
Thank you, my dear friends. Thank you.
Alright, pop quiz. What's the game I talk about incessantly? If you guessed Lunar Silver Star Story Complete, then congratulations, you know my videos. I've already gone over and over about how much I love this game, so I'll just skip to the topic at hand, Luna. No, not that one. Or that one. Or that one. Yep, there we go. She doesn't really have that much of a personality, which is common for RPG love interests, but she's rather useful in battle, playing the part of the supporter that's capable of not only healing, but also things like putting enemies to sleep. But then a third of the way through the game, she gets relegated to damsel in distress status. However, she gets brainwashed and then starts to control a freaking dragon. And then when you think you've beaten a game, that's when she really starts to take a turn for the awesome. And then in one of the best video game cutscenes out there, she raises a fortress out of the ground with such a real coolness factor to it that she'd probably give Samus or Bayonetta a run for their money. That being said, there's two places where this new awesome "watch your tongue or I'll smite you with my divine power" characterization starts to fall short. One, the lack of screen time she gets. Two, I can't get past the fact that she's a puppet for...
time to die.
Kill it with fire!
Fatality.
Now this particular character is more of a musician than a singer, but what he does is enough to warrant a spot as a singer anyway. Now mommy, look! A doggy! Here I go, talking about Animal Crossing again. Now, I'm not prepared to have another screaming fest, so don't be prepared to feel the deja vu. In every Animal Crossing game, if you visit a certain area on a Saturday night, KK Slider, or Tota KK as he's actually called, will perform a song for you depending on your mood, and he'll even give you a copy of the song you just performed. This guy's personality is described as a stereotypical laid-back musician, but he's got a good heart at least. His speech pattern is very mellow, he has a passion for performing for others, and strangely enough, he seeks liberation as shown by asking for no price for performing his songs, despite Tom Nook's children having them on sale for a whopping 3,000 bells per song. Sellout? Maybe, but I rather believe they're bootlegged anyway. Speaking of his songs, despite having a guitar and in some cases a whole DJ set, his songs vary in many genres, ranging from blues, rock, jazz, and even salsa and metal. The main reason he's not really any higher is because his beneficiary in the gameplay is like non-existent. He only gives you songs. That and his lyrics range from howls, whistles, and clicks to saying alien crap like quack, quay, and moo. To end off this segment, let's talk about inspiration. If it weren't obvious, this guy is based off of Nintendo's composers, Totaka Kazumi, reflecting on his real-life name, Tota KK, which I've described earlier. He'll even perform Kazumi's original piece if provided a specific request, which was present in not too many games actually. I mean, it was only in Mario Paint, Mario Land 2, Link's Awakening, Yoshi's Story, Luigi's Mansion, Animal Crossing Pikmin 2, Animal Crossing Wild World, Animal Crossing City Folk, Smash Bros. Brawl, Animal Crossing New Leaf, and Wii Sports. That's not even subtle anymore and you know it!
Ever wanted to sound amazing and beat the shit out of people with it? Well, Tyr Grants from Tales of the Abyss has both down to a T. Tyr is a 7th phonist, someone who can use phonic hymns, aka songs, to do what she wants. Tyr can cast powerful spells like Judgment just by singing to you. How fucking awesome is that? Along with her damage phonic hymns, she can also heal with them, and trust me, they're really goddamn useful in this game. Her phonic hymns are most useful during the final boss, spoilers by the way, as she uses one final hymn that makes a party invincible to damage that just lets you wail on Van, which is insanely satisfying considering what he did during the story. Now I would explain her role in the story, but considering how long this game is, it would take me way too long to elaborate everything she does. So what have we learned today? That mixing songs that can both heal and damage with a great female character is the best combo ever. Thank you, Base Namco Bandai. Just remember though, if you hear her singing, you may just be caught in a mystic hurt.
Conker's Bad Fur Day is by far one of my all-time favorite games on the N64. This was back in a time where Rareware's symbol was a stamp of gold. They created such masterpieces as Banjo-Kazooie, Donkey Kong Country, Diddy Kong Racing, but I honestly consider this to be their magnum opus. It featured a lovable cast, a whole team of voice actors, and some of the best damn gameplay Rare ever managed to shit out. Speaking of which...
Uh-oh.
Okay, now before you all scream at me for being unoriginal, picking something really generic, hear me out. The Great Mighty Pooh is probably what's most remembered by everyone about this game, and for good reason. I mean, guys, it's a giant fucking opera singing Pooh! That's hilarious! Oh, and did I mention that it's actually really good? Because it is. This is actually a boss battle, and a fun one at that. It begins with you walking into a giant Pooh-covered room, and a voice commanding you to feed him corn. So you give him a bunch of walking corn, and he reveals himself. He then starts singing the first part of his song.
I am the Great Mighty Pooh, and I'm going to throw my shit at you. A huge supply of tish comes from my chocolate starfish. How about some scat, you little twat?
The battle then begins. You have to go around picking up toilet paper and throwing it into the gaping maw. After you run away from the flying poo balls and, oh wow, didn't expect to say flying poo balls today, then he will start the next part of his song.
Do you really think you'll survive in here? You don't seem to know which creek you're in. Sweet corn is the only thing that makes it through my rear. How do you think I keep this lovely grin?
The Pooh seems to be getting a little annoyed, but still doesn't consider that big a threat. This portion of the battle is a little more difficult, as the Pooh balls fly much quicker and do more damage. It also doesn't help that the Pooh opens his mouth a lot less, and is generally harder to kill. But it still isn't very hard. Then he sings what is considered to be the most popular part of the song.
Now I'm really getting rather mad. You're like a niggly, tickly, shitty little tag nut. When I've knocked you out with all my bab, I'm going to take your head and ram it up my butt.
Your butt.
My butt.
Your butt.
That's right, my butt.
Ugh.
My butt. My butt.
The Great Mighty Pooh seems completely agitated, and is freaking out that he's very close to death. This is the most hard part of the battle, as he rarely opens his mouth at all, and his big balls of feces do the most damage here. But you manage to do it after a while. The Pooh then gets flushed, and the battle ends. And oh, wow, was it awesome! The Great Mighty Pooh is a lot of fun to fight. His singing is great, and its overall just adds to the humor of the game. I love it, and always will. And I can't really say anything else but this. You'd have to be real shitty to not enjoy this song. Screw you, that was funny.
Throughout this list, we've been through many singers, such as a spinning spoof on Medusa, a singing dog with a guitar, and opera singing shit.
However, now we're going for a more normal approach than the others. Without further ado, I present to you Risei Kujikawa.
Risei Kujikawa is one of the main characters in Persona 4, and by far one of the best actually. She's your typical bubbly, cheerful, and somewhat flirty teenage girl.
However, this is all turned upside down once you meet her shadow, which turns out to be a misguided attempt at showing the world her real self by hosting a stripping show. Yeah, it's pretty messed up. But aren't all the shadows like that?
Yeah, that's how Persona 4 works, alright. Anyway, to support this misguided attempt, she summons fractions of Risei's idle life just to mess with you even more. However, when all is over and Teddy's just... I'm going berserk! Risei remarks that none of the shadows are the real her alone. Instead, they are all part of what makes the real her.
With her accepting her shadow, she gains the persona Himiko, which as stated before is mainly support-based. This helps out the investigation team in the world map and in battle, assisting via the analysis of enemies. She's not nearly as annoying as Fuka though, because she can actually talk like a real person. And in Golden, even helps out in all the all-out attacks.
As for her singing abilities, she's an idol, and a popular celebrity in Inaba too. She even has her own nickname for it, known as Rosette in her idol life. To prove she does sing and isn't just an idol, in the 9th episode of the animation she has her own intro, and is the main singer for it. This song is an true story, and is actually what you're listening to besides me and Jamesy Boy here talking.
And since her voice actress is easily one of the best things about Risei, we can't go without mentioning it. She's voiced by Laura Bailey, who's famous for doing the voice of Lucina in Fire Emblem Awakening, Akali in League of Legends, and Platinum the Trinity in BlazBlue, just to name some of the few other roles she has done.
Anyway, to sum up, Risei is an extremely lovable character, great singer, and is well deserving of her spot on this list.
What do you get when you mix music and a Pokemon? Okay, you get a lot of musical Pokemon to pick from for this list. Truth be told, there are actually a lot of musical Pokemon in the series so far, from a cricket, to a chime and bell, to a Pokemon that can literally mimic human speech and has a music note for a head. There are a bunch of options for me to choose from, but in the end, it came down to two choices, Jigglypuff and Meloetta. Well, I like both of them, and I have a bunch of fun playing as Jigglypuff in Smash Bros., but in overall terms of singing ability, and just me overall preferring it, I had to go with Meloetta. Even though I'm not a huge fan of what Generation 5 had to offer in terms of its legendary Pokemon, Meloetta is an exception to this. Meloetta is a very interesting Pokemon, as it is based off a typical singer with a sheet of music for hair and a treble clef acting as this sort of microphone on its head. So basically, just think Hatsune Miku with a sheet of music on her head, and you're good. Meloetta also learns many moves revolving around singing and dancing when leveling up, such as Sing, Teeter Dance, Echoed Voice, Hyper Voice, Perish Song, and its own special move, Relic Song, which changes Meloetta's form into this brand new normal fighting type. Not only that, but its stats also changed from being a special attacker to a physical attacker, so it's your choice in battle what strategy you want to go for when using a Meloetta. Do you want to be a special attacker like, say, Mewtwo, or do you want to be a more physical attacker like, say, Regigigas? It's all up to you. That and Meloetta's singing voice is actually really good, as shown in that one special event in Black and White and in the anime. Overall, Meloetta is a great legendary and an even better singer that I think should get more recognition in the Pokemon fanbase. And really, that's all I had to say. Still wish I picked my entry later because, well, I kind of forgot about someone and it made me kind of sad. Together now.
You know what's not fun? Being normal.
I love the smell of almost dead cheerleader in the morning. Yeah! Woo!
Now what can I say about Zed without sounding like a maniac actually trying to sound reasonable? Zed is fucking crazy, simple as. Now if you actually played Lollipop Chainsaw before, you would know that every boss in the game is actually based on a different music genre. And Zed is obviously based on the classic punk rock. You can clearly tell by his design as a whole. I mean, that motherfucking spiky mohawk, which is just gangster as fuck, those rotten and messy clothes, and his speech pattern as a whole. He curses a lot.
I'm loving this shit! Your ass is mine! Welcome to Skullfuck Central! Fucking face! Stupid cool!
Now you might say that Zed doesn't really count because we never actually hear Zed sing with his screamy voice. But I have some counter arguments for that. He uses a microphone as a weapon, and we all know that a microphone obviously equals a singer, and not a fucking bassist or whatever you were thinking. My other argument is, who really gives a flying Now to Zed's battle. The fight with Zed is incredibly fun and chaotic. There's always something going on in every corner of the arena. Like Zed stabbing you with his microphone of death, Zed running around like he's on some massive steroids, or literally summoning flying curse words onto your face.
Why am I not surprised?
Lollipop Chainsaw's awesome music also helps this battle to be absolutely kick-ass. While it's not my favorite boss in the game, it's definitely one of the most fun and craziest fights in the game that I've ever played. Also, his death scene is fucking hilarious.
It really fucking hurts, man! Oh!
Jeez, so emo.
Teletubbies plushie? I worship that. Stan Marsh hat? I wear that. Parappa the Rapper? I play that. Out of all the singers we chose to top the list, we decided to choose a paper-thin, anthropomorphic dog that is the star of a PS1 classic. Pretty sure it would be obvious by now, but Parappa is love. Sure, his game may be really short, but the challenge is right there. So yeah, it's a pretty fucking good rhythm game. But you don't want to hear about the game, you want to hear about the rapper himself. Parappa's attitude can be summed up as this. He's a friendly mofo, and even if he tends to mess up a lot, he has a very positive attitude and always tries to fix the situation. As you can tell by his famous catchphrase,
I gotta believe.
Case in point, Parappa isn't really extremely fleshed out, but from what we know about him, we can at least come to the conclusion that he's pretty damn likable. But what about the trait that truly determines if Parappa deserves to be on this list, let alone number 1? His capabilities as a singer. Well, he kicks ass! Parappa's singing talents are more than simple vocal cords slowly getting torn apart. They are God. Okay, not really, he's a good singer, not anything special, but what secures him at the top of the list is 2 specific reasons. First off, the songs that Parappa sings alongside many side characters are very, very catchy. And the entirety of his 2 games revolve around him singing while solving his problems. His singing abilities are also implemented in his moveset when he appears as a playable character in PlayStation All-Stars, with his level 3 super being a gigantic tribute to the finale of the first Parappa game. And let's not forget that he was glorious enough to be included in Robot Chicken. I swear to God, Adult Swim, please don't report this video for a small clip, I love you. Okay, thanks, bye. Anyway, we're the gaming family, and according to this list, Parappa the Rapper is the best video game Bieber wannabe.